This is the first in a series of videos demonstrating some best practices in preparing a manuscript or a book that will also make it easier and less expensive to convert into an ebook. The first thing to understand is that an ebook has more in common with a website than it does with desktop publishing. This doesn't mean that you have to be an expert in HTML code language, but it does mean it's essential to know what can be done in the code that lies behind an ebook, and more importantly, what can't be done. First, a list of don'ts. Don't use tabs to indent paragraphs. They aren't supported in ebooks. Don't use forced line breaks or forced hyphens. Unless they are found later, they will appear in the middle of a line in an ebook. Don't use extra returns to create space between paragraphs. They aren't supported either. Now, what can you do instead? We're going to start with a basic Word document. I'm going to use the Styles feature of Word to format my manuscript for both printing and conversion to an ebook that will make the process easier, better, and less expensive. Now, I'm using Word for Mac, and the styles are found in a slightly different place in Word for Mac than they are on Word for PC. But actually on a PC, the styles are easier to find. They're right on top where you can't miss them. But for Word for Mac, the first thing we need to do is go up here to our menu, go under View, and go to Formatting Palette. And here's our formatting palette. And as you can see, the second item on the formatting palette is Styles. So we'll open up our Styles. And now we're going to start to choose 3 different styles for our manuscript. It's going to be a chapter heading. It's going to be the first paragraph, which we don't want to have indented. And then it's going to be a formatting for the rest of the chapter, which is going to have a 1/2 inch indent. Our first style that we're going to define is going to be for our first paragraph. And I'm going to take one of Word's built-in styles, which is body text, and I'm going to go over here. When I mouse over, it shows me a downward arrow, and then I have the option of hitting Modify Style. Now on a PC, what we do is just go up to the menu at the top where we see all those styles, and by clicking on that we get a window which is very much like the window for Word for Mac. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the font, and we're going to go down here and we're going to make it, we're going to find Times. That's just our basic font, and we'll leave it at 16 point. Then we're going to go down here to Format, and we're going to go to Format Paragraph. And the indentation, left, right, or special. Now special would give us first line, but we don't want an indent on our first paragraph, so we're going to leave it at none. And hit OK. I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to go and select the first paragraph, and I'm going to hit body text, and there it takes us into that style. Now the next style that I want to do, I'm going to create a new one, and by going to New Style, clicking on this little green circle with a plus sign, I get a new style, and I'm going to call this style Body Style 2. And I want times again. I'm going to make it 16 point. Now I'm going to go down here to Format again, and I'm going to hit Format Paragraph. This time under indentation, I'm going to go to first line. And here we have 1/2 inch comes up. I can make it bigger or I can make it smaller. And Word even gives us a preview of it here. I can hit OK. I can hit OK. And then I'm going to select the rest of my chapter here, and I'm going to click on Body Style 2, and there it formats it for me with the first paragraph is in the regular body text, and the rest is in Body Style 2 with the indent I want. Now I'm going to do something else. I'm going to go back here to our document, and I'm going to put in Chapter 1. And now I want to have a style for Chapter 1. So I'm going to highlight Chapter 1, go over here to New Style. I'm going to give it a new name, Chapter head, and it's times, and we want it times bold this time, and instead of 16 I want it 24, and then I hit OK, and then I apply chapter head, and there we go. Now let's say I decide I want that chapter heading to be centered. I go back here, instead of hitting center, I go back here to modify style, and then I find the center icon, hit center, hit OK, and now whenever I have another chapter heading, all I have to do is style it by clicking on chapter head, and it will format it exactly the same way. This means that when this manuscript is converted into an ebook, those style names will be converted to tags like in an HTML code, and the formatting will be the same.